have 3 different lactate workouts. We have the 23-second drill. We have the 4x4 predictor. One of them is a super fast one that we do on windy days, which is 3 times 150, or the 3 times 200. 2 different predictors. We're going to talk about these in a minute. And we also have the critical zone workout that we have not done this for 5 years, but like I said, this year we would have progressed to doing this one time. I think it's a great workout, but it's very difficult. So what's a 23-second drill? The inventor is Chris Korfis, my business partner with TFC, and he told me about this in 2008, and it's been a part of my training ever since. I like to do this as our first lactate workouts, and we do this indoors instead of a 23-second drill like we would do outdoors. We do 24 seconds because you want your very best kids to make 200 meters, and they're not going to make, nobody makes 200 meters. Well, maybe one guy once in a while if he's like a state champion. We have a 178 meter track, which means that the curves are beyond tight, and there's just no way that you're going to get a couple kids every year breaking 200 meters in the 23-second drill. So we go 24 seconds indoors. If I did it outside, I would do it with the wind, and I would do it 23 second. We go solo with a kind of a falling start. It's not a fly start. We just kind of lean into it. We put pylons at the end of the race, everywhere from the 165 meter mark to 210. We put a large pylon at 200 meters. And the reason why we put the large pylon there is that is the overall measure of excellence. Now, everybody's just trying to do the best they can, of course, but I want my best guys shooting for 200. Because as Chris Korfis told me back in 2008, if we have 4 guys go over 200 meters in the 23-second drill, we will be all state in the 4x2. Matter of fact, we might win it if we have 4 guys over 200 meters in the 23-second drill. So that's our goal. And I tell our guys that, and it really, I think, motivates them. Our record is 215 meters. That's kind of crazy. It's actually, I say 425. Marcellus Moore went 215 and 210 in the same day, 8 minutes rest. So that's our school record. Tons of noise. Everybody's going freaking crazy. I think it really bounces off the walls indoors. It's a really cool thing. My visitors that come, if they come and see a 23-second drill, I guarantee they leave really impressed. Before I ever did it, I actually visited Chris Korfis working with his York track team. It was a 7 o'clock in the morning practice on a Saturday, and I watched it, and it was like I drank 3 cups of coffee or something. I was so excited after seeing it that I thought it was really going to be a game changer in my program, and it has been. There's like an 8 to 10 minute rest. It's supposed to be like 8 minutes, but I don't care if the guy needs an extra minute or 2. It doesn't matter. And we try to get within 5 meters of the first effort. So if somebody goes 196 the first time, his goal on the second one is to go 191 or better. We, of course, record, rank, and publish. I'm a huge believer in documenting every effort in every workout. A lot of people want to know, what do we do with girls? And I don't coach girls, but the people who have started doing this workout, they go 23 with boys, 27 with girls. Maybe if you're doing it on a tight track indoors like I do, you'd maybe go 28 with girls on a short track. And if you want to read more about this stuff, I wrote an entire article on the 23-second drill. Just Google it and find it. And you're lucky you get to see it here. This is actually our school record. I'm in the black. I just started somebody. It was a sophomore who runs about 24. in the 200. And I believe that kid's going to go 192 in this. That's my son Quinn in the red. That's Marcellus about ready to start. And he's going to start him. And we usually have two guys on the track at once. I say we're running solo, but we usually have two guys run at once. If we have three coaches timing, we could start somebody right after Marcellus goes. Yeah, when Quinn said 24, he starts doing that like the countdown. 21, 22, 23, 24. Wherever he says 24, that's where he marks. And that's where Marcellus went 215 meters in 24 seconds on a 178-meter track. And that's really, really good. And, he was a state champion 2 years in a row. And he would have been in a senior year too, but he went to Purdue, graduated early. Without data, you don't know where you've been. You don't know where you're going. Remember, I have a course called Record, Rank, and Publish. 2 hours of this kind of stuff is so essential to feeding the cats that we perform in practice. And people don't perform unless they're closely observed and their performance is measured. So this is what it looks like, and I explain all of it in my other course. But you can see Marcellus at the top. He actually on the first day went, or on his first run that day, went 210. On his second run went 215, and that was on February 13th. So anyway, you can train for speed, and speed creates endurance. And I keep track on the right, all the best guys as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And all the guys in red are all-staters for me. All the guys in yellow are present members of the team. And so this kind of stuff, I tweet it out. This kind of stuff is definitely cat food. I mean, this is how you feed the cats. Now let's talk about the 600-meter 4x4 predictor. This is usually what we progress to outdoors. It's my favorite outdoor lactate workout. We run 3 200s with a 3 or 4 minute rest, and it takes 10 to 12 minutes. If you do 3 minutes rest, you actually do it in exactly 10 minutes. So you run 3 really fast 200s in a 10-minute period. You run each one like it's the first 200 meters of the 4x4 at the state meet. Our cue is fast and loose. I think this is so important because this drill not only is a lactate workout, but this is something that actually teaches our kids how to run the 400. As I said, they learn how to run the 400. We do it in a single file line. We do it with free lap, 10 to 12 guys. They get a 10-meter run in. They're all wearing a chip. The next guy can go as soon as the other guy is like 2 steps into his run. And we go fastest to slowest to try to prevent much passing. If nobody passes anybody, we can write down the free lap times in the order that they finish. If somebody passes someone, then we have to go back and check numbers and stuff. It adds a little bit of confusion, but typically we would like for no passing to go on. But we if somebody slows down in front of you, you got to pass them. We always run with the wind. Always. I think we don't run against the wind in anything we do. And great weather is preferred. What does this mean? If, let's say, we're going into an important week and it's going to be shit on Monday and beautiful on Tuesday. Well, we're going to move our lactate workout to Tuesday. If done without free lap, we would run in groups of 3. We would still have about a 10-meter fly-in start. We would have an assistant coach holding a white hat up in the air or something like that and dropping a hand as all 3 guys cross the starting line for the 200. And so one click of the watch, and then click, click, click as they finish, and then we write down the times. Now here is the math, the predictor. The sum of the 3 times 0.667 plus 2. But it's easier if I actually say it like this. If your fast guy would run 23, 23, 23, 2/3 of that is 46. Nice, easy addition there, 46, plus 2 seconds. So if somebody can go 23, 23, 23, 23 with about 3 minutes rest, they're pretty good. Even though it is a fly-in start, they're pretty good. Even though it is with the wind, they're pretty good. That would predict to a 48-second 400. Actually, we call it a 4x4 predictor, so it's kind of like, what would you run an anchor? To break the world record, you'd have to be really fast, obviously. You would have to run your 3 200s in sub 21, sub 21, sub 21. I would say somebody that can run a sub 21 3 times in 10 minutes could definitely break the world record. So that's the way we do it. Once again, I've written this up, maybe a 3,000 word article, so if you want to read more about the predictor, just Google 4x4 predictor. And of course, like I say, we document everything. We actually timed this hand timed, but I put this up there because this was our school record predictor of 47.6. And sure enough, if you want to know what this kid's times were when he predicted this, he went 23.2, 23.2, 21.6. You go, well, that's impossible. But remember, these are with the wind, with a 10, and it's like a 4x4 split because they have a running start. So, and there was a 20-mile-an-hour wind on the day that this happened, but we always run with the wind. Now, the 450 predictor, it sounds easier, but it's harder because the math is so much tougher. We just add up the 3 times to get their predicted 4x4 time. So, if we want to do a lactate workout and it's really freaky windy, let's say 30-mile-an-hour winds, we'll always do this because you need some help. This just, everything's the same except for you're running 3 times 150. But we're not running each one like the first 200 of the 4x4 at the state meet. We're running them lights out. We're going fast. Remember, save this for a rainy day. Kids will need the help. Once again, we go single file. Everything's the same, 10-meter run in. Spacing should be about 5 meters. We would rather we would rather set it up where kids can't pass each other. So we always go fastest to slowest. And it's kind of fun to rank the kids too, because, somebody will be like, gosh, coach, you think he's faster than me? And that's the type of competitive nature that I love to see from cats. Great weather, again, preferred. You don't want to do this. I said a windy day. I didn't say a hurricane. It's just, the whole thing about we're going to do this in terrible weather because that makes us tougher. I'm a performance coach. If done without free lap, you run groups of 3, just like I said with the other deal. The predictor is just add the 3 times. So if you have a kid that can, with a run-in start and high wind, could run 16 flat, 16 flat, 16 flat, that would predict a 48. That's about what Marcellus could do. Now for a world record, you would have to go 14:33 all 3 times. That's really, really fast. But, that's what world records are like. You want to read more? Like I said, it's the same article. The 4x4 predictor has both my 450 and my 600 discussed. And here is the recorded stuff. This is from 2018. This has Marcellus as a sophomore up there. He predicted 48:33. And as a freshman, he predicted 48 flat. You can see, I have guys 51, 52, 52, 53, 53. This really works well. Critical zone workout. This is the one everybody wants to see, because if it's so hard we don't do it, everybody wants to know what that would be like. I got this from Paul Souza, famous coach that coached at Wheaton College in Massachusetts. So run in, start, 200 meter goal pace, 200 meter at goal 400 pace. So let's say your goal is a 48. You do a run in 24 flat. Now this is tough because you're going to do two 200s with only 45 seconds rest. So you don't get a chance to run both with the wind like the other workouts we've done. So if it's windy at all, which is not really good for this workout, we would rather have a blue sky day with no wind. If this is the case, they're going to have to run one against the wind, one with. So that makes it a little tougher as well. So you have to go out and run your goal pace twice with only a 45-second rest. Now that rest may be up to 60 seconds. It's really kind of hard to get a guy who just completed the 200 to back up 20 meters or so in order to use that 200 start again. It may take him 60 seconds, but that's still good for him. Then you go big rest. It's not a full recovery. 8 to 10 minutes is no way a full recovery. If you've just run 48 seconds of near sprinting, it probably takes you 30 minutes to have complete rest. So we're only going to go 8 to 10 incomplete rest. We're going to repeat the 200, 200. Then we're going to add the times, divide by 2. So let's say on the first set, they ran great, 24, 24. In the second set, they ran 25, 25. That would predict an open 400 time of 49. You just add them up, divide by 2. I would never suggest this to an early season. If you make the mistake of doing it early season, they're going to fail. And remember, you do not want failure. You always want to be successful in a workout. And if you do fail, remember, as the coach, you must make adjustments and say, okay, we did this too early. We did this in bad weather. I didn't sell it. You got to take care of things. I would suggest doing this one time, and that would be 10 days before the state meet or so. Like the week of sectional. If you're so good that you have a chance to win the state meet in the 4x4, this doesn't hurt you too bad in your preliminary meet because you're probably dominant. Sunshine, blue skies, and low wind, I think, is really important. And a lot of times late in the season, even in Illinois, we will actually get that. I would say only do this with a potential 400-meter star or a star-studded 4x4. That's why we're going to do it this year, because, as I told you earlier, I had 4 kids I expected to break 50 in their splits. We had a chance to be as good as anybody in the state. In a weird note, I had a real good 400 guy 3 years ago that had a turf toe situation. There's no way that a guy that limps after every run is going to do something like this. No way. And I don't think this is for your average kid. That freshman that runs a 58 or something. I don't think this is a workout that's great for him. And as I said, it was created by Paul Souza. In the early days of internet, Paul Souza was like my first email mentor. So this guy, I did not train this guy, but I trained the coach who trained him. This guy ran at Plainfield Central. I coach at Plainfield North. Kamari Montgomery, at the state meet with only like 30 to 40 minutes rest in between these things, won the 100, 200, and 400. He went 1050, 2096, and 4624. He's a Triple Crown winner, and he was trained 100% feed the cats. 100%. He never ran a warm-up lap. He never ran more than 200 meters. He did 23-second drill. He did 4x4 predictors, and he did one critical zone workout, just one. So Kamari's hardest workout was that critical zone. Broken 4, 8-minute recovery, broken 4. And the coach reported to me that it was very difficult. Why did the coach buy into not only the way I cook, but my exact recipe? Kamari's coach was a throws coach. He was not a runner himself. He had what he learned from about sprinting. He learned from me, and so he did the exact stuff. So in a way, Kamari was not my athlete, but in a way he kind of was. And then Kamari was a national champion, 48-58. So he had great talent, obviously. He was also NCAA champ the year after this. I believe he's a 2019 NCAA champ, and now he's a pro. It's interesting. Out of high school, he went to Missouri, and not only did they, all college coaches are like, feed the cats don't work, blah, blah, blah. They just want to stay complicated and they want to work hard. So the straw that broke the camel's back for Kamari was he was actually put in a 600-meter run, his first meet as a sophomore, and I didn't hear from him since. And then he transferred to Houston and ran for Carl Lewis there. Marcel's, his hardest workout his sophomore year was a 150, 150, 150. And he ran all three of them in 16 seconds. If you remember, his predictor that I showed you on this workout was a 48 flat. So he was able to do that with just 3 minutes recovery. He did throw up after that workout. And at the state meet, and this is, you maybe see he's wearing braces here. He's got braces. He's 15 years old. He's a sophomore. He went 10:31, 20.88 the week before at sectional. And at our conference meet, he only ran the 400 like 3 times, but he ran a 48-41 at conference, and he won the 400. So you can train guys like this, and they can still be good in the 4.